Have you ever woken up completely unable to move? While something stood in your room, you try to scream, nothing happens. You try to move, nothing. Then it gets closer. This happened to me more times than I can count. The light switch. There was a period in my life when anxiety and depression controlled almost everything. Sleep became something I dreaded. Some nights I couldn't fall asleep at all. Other nights I wish I never had. It got so bad that as a grown man in my 20s, I started sleeping with the lights on. I know it sounded ridiculous, but it made me feel just a little safer. One night, I was laying in bed, drifting off to sleep, when I felt it again. That familiar presence, like someone had quietly walked into my room. I couldn't say anything, but I knew something was there. Then I heard it. Click. The light switched off. Even though my eyes were closed, I could almost see the room becoming darker. The presence moved closer. Then, in a soft woman's voice, it whispered,
"You can't be saved by the light."
I jolted awake. The light was still on. Nothing had moved. But I didn't sleep again that night. It felt like the one thing that made me feel safe had just been taken away. What is sleeping paralysis? As terrifying as this experience felt, my brain was actually doing something completely normal. Sleep paralysis happens during REM sleep, the stage where most dreaming occurs. During REM sleep, your brain temporarily switches off your muscles, so you don't physically act out your dreams. Normally, your brain and body wake up at the same time. Sometimes, your brain wakes up first, but your body is still asleep. You are fully aware of your surroundings. That is sleep paralysis. Most episodes only last a few seconds to a couple of minutes, but when you're trapped in that state, it can feel like forever. The scary part is that your dream hasn't completely ended. Your brain is still capable of producing vivid dream imagery. While you're awake, if panic takes over, your brain tries to explain what you're feeling. The pressure on your chest becomes someone sitting on top of you. The strange sound becomes whispers. The darkness becomes a figure standing beside your bed. It feels real because to your brain, it is. The woman above me. One experience still stands out more than all the others. I woke up unable to move. Above me floated a woman, long dark hair, a white dress. She hovered silently over my bed. We stared at each other for what felt like forever. Then she slowly stretched out her arms. Little by little, she floated closer, until she wrapped her arms around me. At first it almost felt comforting. Then I felt her nails, sharp, digging into my back. The pressure grew stronger and stronger, until it felt like knives piercing my skin. Then, I woke up. Nothing was there. Sleep paralysis isn't always the same. Everyone experiences it differently. For me, it was often shadow figures standing in a doorway. Sometimes a tall man wearing a hat. Sometimes a woman in a white dress. Always accompanied by the same overwhelming feeling that something evil had entered the room. Other times I felt myself being scratched, bitten or dragged by my leg. Someone breathing into my ear, whispering words I couldn't quite understand. Or the feeling of hands wrapped around my neck. None of it was real, but in that moment, it felt completely real. Why does it happen? Looking back, it's not surprising these experiences happened during one of the darkest periods of my life. Stress, anxiety, depression, all of these increase the chances of experiencing sleep paralysis. Alcohol and drugs can also interfere with REM sleep. When that REM sleep finally returns, dreams often become much more vivid. Sleep paralysis isn't caused by demons, ghosts, or curses. It's usually your brain trying to make sense of a body that's still asleep. Knowing that doesn't make it less frightening, but it does make it easier to understand. How I stopped being afraid. Eventually I realized something. No matter how terrifying it felt, nothing had ever actually hurt me. Once I stopped fighting it, everything changed. Instead of trying to scream, I stayed calm. Instead of panicking, I reminded myself what was happening. Most of the time, I would either fall back asleep naturally, or slowly regain control of my body and wake up. Sleep paralysis never completely disappeared, but the fear did. Ironically, learning to stay calm during sleep paralysis led me to something even stranger. Lucid dreaming. But that's a story for another video. Thanks for watching.